Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Karen Mikowski, aka Butterfly Karen. I'm also the leading investigator on any of my cases, parapsychology and paranormal investigations. Welcome. So before I get started, I just want to log and date the time. Right now here in Arizona, it is the June the 20th, 2024. So I just want to quickly log this. There's reasons for it. 2024, and it's exactly 9. I can show you, but I need to. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Oh, I'm going to be doing a real-time remote viewing case today, so oh, for the love of God. Okay. 9:21 p.m. 9:21 p.m. Now, in Tenerife, it is June 21st, 2024, and the time is, I believe, 5:21 a.m. It's a time zone difference. Now, reasons for that. So this evening, I'm going to be working on a missing persons case. It's a little bit of a backstory before I get started. I just wanted to log everything before I get going. This is case CCMP67. CCMP67. And this is the missing persons case of Jay Slater. So tonight I'm going to be conducting a real-time remote viewing. Well, it's more astral traveling. Missing boy. He's a 19-year-old missing lad. British. And he's in Tenerife right now. Well, he went to Tenerife at the weekend for apparently a music festival or DJ, that kind of party festival, DJs and stuff. Now, I would not have even known about this case if it wasn't for my best friend Lisa, who we were chatting today, and she was, obviously her and her son absolutely love Tenerife. I mean, I love the Canary Islands, but they, so obviously I don't really because I'm not on social media or Facebook anymore, I don't really get to know what's going on really in that sort of like social media world anymore. But she was telling me about this young lad that his first time abroad too, went away, to Tenerife this weekend just gone, this past, and he basically went missing. So that was on Monday morning. He was last heard, he made his last phone call to his friend who he went there with. She apparently claimed he basically made contacts with her around 8 a.m. on Monday morning. So, and then he had like one bar on his phone, and he apparently had no water, but he was leaving a house he went to the previous evening, or sort of early hours after partying. That's kind of normal. But he went to a house in the hills, like sort of in the mountain range, or more so north of where he was, because he was in Las Americas. But he went right up to, I believe it was in the area of Rural Deltina Park. That's like apparently that's like a 10-hour walk. To hike, to walk from that point to Playa de las Americas, you're talking 10 hours at least, 10, 11 hours. Now, apparently, I was reading one article and it claims where he was, there is a bus service apparently that goes up that sort of mountain range. And apparently the bus goes every 10 minutes, but I'd like to have that sort of reconfirmed, because if that's the case, then there's something wrong here, because especially on a Monday morning from 8 a.m. and between 8 and 9 a.m., there's no way there was no bus. There would have been at least, the buses would have been starting to circulate. So I feel like had he just stayed on the road and just made his way down the mountain on the road, and instead of going into the, so I'm going to come back to what we're being told. But apparently he went through the sort of forest terrain, well, more so the hiking terrain, because apparently it's really good for hiking up there. There's a lot of hiking paths and stuff, but you would not be wanting to attempt that unless you were kitted properly with proper hiking gear, plenty of water, and at least a full battery or some way of communicating. It's like here in Arizona. The heat is not, well, it's a lot hot here, but the heat is very similar to this. You don't get caught. You don't want to get caught off or caught off guard if you're not prepared to take a hike. And the fact that he was telling his friend that he was hiking down this trek, and he was already saying he needed water, so he was dehydrated. He was in shorts and t-shirt, so he wasn't wearing the correct clothes either. And he had one bar on his phone. That's just a recipe for disaster right there. But it tells me he may have already been feeling the effects of probably dehydration. He probably wasn't thinking clearly and thought, okay, well, the buses are not coming. Apparently he claimed he missed a bus. Well, if they come every 10 minutes, he would have only had to wait another 10 minutes. And like I say, if it was me, I would have just continued walking on that road. And then once another one passes, I would have stopped it, whether it's going up or down, especially if I knew I needed water. But you know, when you're a bit dehydrated, you're not really thinking clearly. And then you got to remember he was out that weekend. So he will have been drinking a lot. And I know what Brits are like. When we go to Spain and places like Tenerife, we do a lot of binge drinking. Well, I did back in the day. I don't do it now. So I understand why he would, you know, when you're heavily when you've been drinking that night before, your body's already dehydrated. So for him to know that he needed water, ooh, that's just like when my best friend was telling me today, and I'm like, whoa, okay, that sounds like a recipe for disaster, because there's a lot of hikers who, you know, really don't. They take for granted the heat and the sun and everything, and and even going out early in the morning too, very early. I mean, I don't really like to hike in the summer here because it's too hot, especially right now. It's far too hot. I like to do mine in winter. I do all my hiking in winter and autumn, and you know, I stop hiking really by the end of May. So, but that's because I sort of understand how easily can get caught off guard, and you've got to be prepared for it, you know, right shoes and everything. So, now, a few little points I want to, because once we were chatting about it, obviously I'm going to start looking at articles, and then I'm thinking, okay, let's see where we're at now, see if there's any results. And apparently, as of right now, well, today, here in Arizona time, I checked at 15:55 p.m. here in Arizona time, just to see what else, see if there's any new developments, which will have, but the last one was 50 so this Tenerife was like 15:44. Was that June the 20th, which was today here in Arizona, but yesterday in Tenerife. That was the sort of last update I could find. So I thought, okay, well, he's still missing them. And I believe his parents have already flown over to Tenerife now, and they're aiding in the. So this is Jay Slater. Obviously, I'm going to put this in the report and everything, but I'm going to be, once before I start putting my mask on, because when I do real time, sort of like when I'm looking for a missing person, I'm connecting to the energy frequency of that person. It does not matter whether that energy is alive or deceased. The energy frequency, the soul, right? That is your energy. That's your energy source, your frequency. That's what I'm connecting to. And that's what I'm going to try and connect to tonight. So I want to try and get this session, I want to try and get as much as I can, because I want to get the report done tonight while it's still early hours in Tenerife. And then I've got to look for who's in charge of that investigation. I've got to figure out how to get my investigation report emailed immediately. So hopefully if they start the search again tomorrow, and fingers crossed, I might have a location, or at least it'd be great if I could get a grid, like a long, grid number, but I never know what's going to come through. So I'm going to be zoning in. I mean, I'm going to look like I'm pretty much full. I'm not though. I'm literally going to be astral traveling. So that way I want to be over this particular area. I want to zone in around that area and just see if I can, once I connect to his frequency. If I can't get a connection to his frequency, I'm going to connect to a frequency of one of his loved ones who was already on the different dimension on the other side, right? Because they're going to connect to him right now to try and watch over him regardless. So either way, I'm going to try my hardest to sort of connect to his frequency. Then I can start astrally traveling in and zoning in and see if I can feel the energy pull. I've already done my pre-prep and I'm already starting to feel heavy, like, so that's what that means. Energy is coming in. I'm going to be ready to go soon. I'll get the go ahead, but I'm going to be wearing my mask because I need to completely zone out all of this. While I'm pretty much zoning out, there's going to be a lot of automatic droning, writing and everything. I'd like to, I'll try and see what I can see and get what I can get. But I need to sort of zone out the environment and everything. That's going to be boring. So at that point, you might, until I come back out of it, you might want to just sort of fast forward a bit. This is what a real-time remote viewing and astral mind travel session looks like. So like I say, when my best friend was telling me, I was like, well, just let me do what I do then, you know, I'll see if I can find him. And, you know, she was like, well, you don't need to be in Tenerife. I'm like, no, you can do this from anywhere in the world. Energy is energy. It doesn't matter where you are in the world when you connect to energy. So I had to just do a little bit of like, okay, so what is really going on? Now, key points. So like I say, he called his friend shortly around 9 a.m. to tell her he was going to make. So he went to a house to have more drinks or a party with two guys he met in Tenerife. Now, we don't really know much about those guys, but apparently they've already flown back home. Or apparently, we don't really know for sure, but apparently they're stating now that they've already flown back home. So they need to be found immediately. They need to be questioned, because I feel, I'm not saying anything happened, but we don't know what caused him to want to leave, right? This is what I'm already, once I connected to the energy earlier, it felt like, why did he need to leave so early? I mean, okay, it's not early really when you think about it, but it's still early, like when you're all sort of been drinking all weekend and night and you're a bit hungover. The fact that he wanted to get back to his accommodation, and yet to me, he was disoriented. I personally feel like he was already disorientated. So, okay, we're connecting. I've got his loved ones. I'm trying to connect to his loved ones right now. There's an energy there. So it takes, I literally asked my guardians to connect to his energy, you know, of his loved ones anyway, hours ago, because it can take, his energy, it can take a while. But I feel like it's coming in now. It's good. I feel like he was already slightly disorientated, because to not be thinking logically and thinking, I can do a 10-hour walk without water in the wrong clothes. No. That doesn't make sense to me. For anybody to just sort of like, and in terrain you don't know either, and to think you can trek it with no battery power, things like that. And you know, apparently he'd already been cut by cacti and everything. So, and he stated to his friend he was lost. So if you know you're lost and you're dehydrated, right? And you've got one battery bar on your phone left, and you're like, you're not going to wait for the bus because apparently you missed the bus. That doesn't sound like logical thinking. It sounds like, I just want to get away, I just want to get back. So my My feeling is, why didn't he wait for another bus? Because apparently they come regularly. Why didn't you just wait for the next one? Because, or just walk down the road because you can stop a car. You can just say, hey, can you help? If he, I mean, they may not give you a lift, but can you help me with some water? You know, people will sort of help, but then you've got to be careful who you're stopping these days too. But apparently he did say to his friend, he was walking through the hiking trail, which is where they're all looking now. So we know that much. Yeah, I'd like to know. I'd like to, if I was investigating, I'd want to be speaking. If I was in English police right now, I'd be knocking on the doors of those two guys. So that's just something I was pulling on. Now, and again, the fact that to me, it felt like he was already, and he was worried, clearly. He was already worried because he was lost, but if you're disorientated and you're already dehydrating and you don't know your surrounding area, you're going to be in trouble. I did look into sort of like, what would want to kill him in the wild, right? Because it's like here in Arizona, there's a lot of stuff that would want to kill you if you got lost, like rattlesnakes and everything, right? Bears and all kinds of stuff. So I was sort of looking at the wild sort of animals and anything, but there's nothing really venomous or anything like that. There's nothing like that he would need to be worrying about apart from the elements. So even right now, it's looking like, I was looking at the sort of temperatures, even for the following week coming up, you're talking like early, the lower 70s up to the higher 70s. And that's still quite warm if you've got no water and stuff like this. But then the temperature drops into the 60s at night. So you still need to be, and again, if you're sort of like very north and you're in sort of mountain terrain, that temperature drops a lot more than, well, it does up here anyway. So you go a bit north up here, it's like 10 degrees cooler. So, yeah, so there's no real major species that you need to be sort of worrying about per se. I don't know about tropical plants or anything like that. I didn't really look into that, but, and the fact that he's been missing since Monday morning, we don't know if he did come across other people, and we don't know if he's crossed paths with some dodgy people. I mean, what I will say, one thing about the Canary Islands is, you know, I don't care. I've been so many times. What I do know, and I said this in other videos, it's the same in Spain. They don't like us. They tolerate us because we're part of their economy, right? We're their sort of like part of the food chain, you know, without the British tourist. I mean, there's plenty of like European tourists, but it's really a lot of Brits. So we are a big source of their income during like seasons and stuff like this. But that doesn't mean they like us at all. Like the natives and Spanish and stuff like that. I mean, the tolerators, obviously. But then, problem with binge drinking, and when you're talking about, now I'm not saying he was on drugs or anything like that, but what I do know about going to places like, when you're going to DJ club, you know, clubbing, DJing parties and events and stuff like that, especially like a place like Ibiza, yeah, you're going to be getting high on shit. They're all going to be touching ecstasy and everything. So that's well known. So I guess we don't know, he might not have been under the influence of anything like that except for alcohol, but who's to say the people he was meeting were under the influence of something? So, and to me, I'm always like suspicious of like clubbing scenes anyway, because like I'm old school and I know what it was like back in the 90s. So, and today is not safe like it was back then at all, anywhere in the world right now. You've got to be very careful. So I really just wanted to, I said to my best friend, you know, like I said, oh Lisa, let me do what I do. Let me see if I can try and connect and see if I can find something. anything past 48 hours in any missing persons case is never good. It's not great. Now, I was feeling like if he's a smart lad, and again, he's still going to need water, but there could be sort of, there could be ravines or anything, or there could be like little, if you can find a lake or anything like, or listening for water. I would make it, I'm kind of thinking what I would do. Like I would listen for water. I mean, I've been lost in forests and places like that a few times back in, back in the day and stuff like that. And certain things that the military always taught me to sort of look out for and do. But by day, and I even said to Lisa, if it's really hot in the day and he's just walking through, because he's heading sort of south, he's going to get overheated quite quickly and he's going to need to take shade. So if he was thinking like, well, I want to stay cool, he may have just sort of taken shelter, like try and get out the sun, the elements. But by night, it's going to be cold. So you've got to think about possible hypothermia kicking in if you're not fully clothed or you're not prepared for it. So, and I remember saying to her, I said, I'm hoping that he's just thought about that, like, I'll just stay in the shade in the day, try and salvage my energy. I'm still not going to help with no water, lack of water though. But then you're going to be careful walking at night because you're going to get lost. If you've got no lighting or any proper equipment, you're going to get lost. You could be just heading into the freaking thick of it. Do you know what I mean? So, and if you've got no compass or anything like that, or basic ways of knowing exactly if you're going north, south, you're not going to know. You're going to be disorientated. So it's really, I'm feeling like this is what it was. This is what's happened. And obviously I want to connect because if there's anything else that's completely different to that, I'll grab hold of that too. So just see if we're ready to connect because I've got to really zone out. So I just need to zone in on Jay for a few minutes. Just need to look at him because usually when I'm doing a real-time remote viewing and that sort of working on a missing persons case, I just want to zone. It's all about the eyes and the energy and just zoning in the name, obviously. It's all I really need. So just get it in my subconscious and get it right there and zone in. I'm going to be needing this very soon. So, Jay Slater. Okay. So I am going to do what I do now, and it's going to take me a few minutes because it's not like when I normally do my sessions, just connecting to the higher order because I've been connected to them for days. But when I'm doing this, like more astral mind travel and stuff like that, I've got to really go deep. Okay. Mm. Anything else? I'm going to stay connected. Okay. I just need to come back to this reality a little bit. Oh. But I'm going to stay connected. Oh, there's energy all over. So, I was hearing, like, once I was connected, I could hear. I don't know if it's his accent too. Lancashire. So there was a point he was telling himself, keep walking, keep walking. I felt like I could visually see him walking on the trail, like on the track, whatever. Just keep walking, keep walking. But then I felt like my waist, once I'm connected, I feel everything. My waist and my right leg all the way down my leg, it was in pain. So I don't know if he's had a bit of a tumble or not, but it hurts when he was walking. I felt like, oh God, it hurt. I can't walk like that. So I'm wondering if that's, the right side, waist and the leg was in pain. I could feel that. And I'm wondering if that's when he can just keep walking. So, I just feel tense and everything, like, I was trying to, okay, so I was asking, like, show me how far you walked from where you left. So I just did like a point here, and I was almost sort of drawing how he was sort of walking, and it looked like he was heading down. I don't know where he entered this track from there, like this trail, whatever, this hiking area. I don't know if he walked a little bit down the road. So then I saw a wall, and then I was literally like hovering over this wall, but then I was like looking right down. I'm like, oh God, I'm looking right down from this wall. So I'm wondering if he was showing me that's kind of where he is. Because I was seeing that what was looking like a little trail. I feel sick. But then from a different angle, it was like I had to sort of see, looking down from this wall area. Why do I feel like they're looking in the wrong place? I mean, it looks like a vast area to search anyway, but it's really weird feeling there, looking in the wrong direction. Okay. Okay, there was a feeling like I could hear, it was like he was saying, I feel wobbly. And do you know, I'm starting to wonder if he was still a little bit drunk. Like, Like, have you ever just sort of had a wild night out where you've been drinking so much that you haven't quite drunk yourself sober yet and you still feel a bit pissed? That maybe, but that might be why he felt a bit wobbly, unless he was getting really dehydrated and just sort of losing. I don't know. But then that was sort of hearing like it was almost like he was like asking for help, like help me. And I'm trying. Um, and then I did hear it's like I walked for like 40 minutes from the house. That was interesting. So think about where the house was. Then there was a wall. I was like stood on a wall looking down into what could look like a weird valley, but and then so if he was walking for 40 minutes, but for like 40 minutes, I heard it like that. I was walking for like 40 minutes from the house. So if, let's say that's the house, and he was walking in that weird direction, like that weird track, 40 minutes. So you'd want to be looking 40 minutes from that on that track. Oh, man. Then I heard cat move my leg, cat move my right leg. That would make sense because I felt like I was in pain. Don't know if he's done something to his really bad to his leg. Couldn't move it. Off. Okay. Then I was hearing off the trail. I laid down. Off the trail, laid down. Can't even read my writing right now, but off the trail, laid down. Um, then I heard, it's okay. It's okay. Real sort of jolly, real weird. Like, it's okay. Feel, it's okay. Feel good. Something like that. It's okay. First I was hearing, it's okay. It's okay. And then I feel good. Like, what? So that was weird. Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. Feel wobbly. I felt wobbly, like, I actually felt drunk. Like, um, it's been a very, very long time since I've been drunk enough to wobble, put it that way. Very long time. Years, in fact. Is there anything else? Okay, yeah. And then the left side of my head, that was in pain. Like, I even remember feeling, oh God, I don't know what's happened there. I just felt like, it wasn't my pain, but I just felt like something happened to it. It may have fallen. And if he was wobbly and he's dehydrated and he's disorientated and he's already hurt his right leg and he might have took a few tumbles and might have banged his head. And then I feel like then there was like a, and there's like a track. But he came off the track a little bit. It slightly came off track and then laid down. So he might have just laid down to rest. And oh God, I just feel heavy. Oh, and that's what I was hearing. He said, it's all okay. It's okay. I feel good. And then I heard him say, it's okay, you know. I don't know if that's something you say. Like, it's okay, you know. I don't know who's with him. Definitely a loved one. I don't know if it's his grandfather or like a grandfather figure. Definitely a man. I don't know I don't know anything about his family, so I don't know. It could be an ancestor, but they haven't left his side. Put it that way. I'm so connected. I just feel really confused. Like I just feel like real confusion. Again, something going on with his head. Like he may have taken a tumble. He may have tripped. He may have fallen, hit his head. Something's going on with his head. Yeah, I'm like, it's like I'm seeing him like walking, but on a steep, like, you know, when you're sort of walking, I do it myself when I'm hiking, and I have to sort of turn on the side slightly if I'm walking down a steep. Feels like he was doing that because he didn't have the right shoes on even. It would be easy to sort of twist your ankle a bit and slip. I've done it myself, like, to really make sure you're balanced when you're going. I feel like it's steep. There was a point of a steep point going, oh, wow. It's like a steep trek at one point. A bit rocky as well. Maybe loose little rocks and stuff. And I'm wondering if that's when he slipped and slipped on his, like, landed on his side, like, and kind of got up and just in pain. I would feel like he slipped. I feel like he fell or something. And he's landed maybe also to do with his waist and waist down in his leg. then I was seeing him get back up and continue. And then I felt like, it's like, keep walking, keep walking. Like he was telling himself, just keep walking. And then I hear, okay, I heard this. This is random. I heard white Nissan. White Nissan. That, I just remembered, like, because, and the reason I just remembered that, white Nissan, was because there's a part of me, I don't want to make any sort of assumptions, but it's very possible. I'm wondering if he was able to flag a car down at one point. Or he came into community. I don't know, maybe saw someone or don't feel right about that though. Don't know why. So I don't know randomly why the white Nissan came into effect. Came on the scene. Anything else on that? I don't know if there's, it feels like, I don't know that area, but very possible there was like this, like little villages, this sporadic little, tiny little villages. I don't know. He may have made it to one of those. I don't know why that's coming into view. Anything else? Yeah, I can still see me. I'm seeing like a wall, like a sort of short wall. And I was like looking, but I was looking down, like down. I'm wondering if that's where he started walking, like maybe went that way over a little wall or something, or a wall, headed towards the track or something and started walking that way. And then about 40 minutes. I feel like he was very disorientated, like really, I would not be surprised by that. Okay, show me. I'm still connected to energy. There's multiple energies now. I'm not just connected to his energy. There's multiple energies. It doesn't matter where the energy is. on 3D alive or 5D, 4D, deceased, it does not matter. I'm connected to energies. Okay. Kind of zoning on how many I'm feeling and seeing. Three. Okay. Male energies. There's movement with these three energies. It's like moving around. I can't zone in because I feel like they're moving and I can't zone in to see what's going on. Weird. It's like they're not, if they could just stay still, but they're not staying still. Okay. I don't know what's going on with these three male energies. They may actually be alive, which is why it's hard for me to really zone in. But they're moving like fast. It's weird. It's weird. That's weird. I don't know what's going on there. And it's almost like I'm trying to focus in and zone in on them, but then I'm pulled away from them as well. It's the weirdest thing. Like I'm aware of them, but I've got to keep the focus here. Why? I'm just seeing the word Petra. Petro. I don't know if that's a name or I don't know if that's a place or an area. Okay, well, what's going on here? Okay, I just need to stop a moment because I've got a fucking energy intruder. I need my guardians to fucking move it. It's what you call an astral spy. Fucking morons. So where was I? That's annoying. My ancestors will deal with that. Oh, God, I need to refocus now. That was annoying. Just, it's almost like there was an intrusive energy trying to pull my attention away. But it's intrusively spying at the same time, like, everything's symbolic too. I've got to keep that in mind. Is there anything else? Anything else? Yeah. Okay. I feel like there's an alarm going off to his left. So from his left ear, in the distance, there's an alarm, some sort of alarm. It could be a car alarm. It could be, it's very faint, but I can hear an alarm going off. It's not here in the 3D. What is that? Which tells me there could be, again, why do I feel like there's a little village around somewhere? It's very possible. It might be close to a little village. Not a big one, but there could be, there's an alarm going off there. Which tells me it's close to something or peoples. It's close to. This is why it'd be great to be in the location. There isn't a language. It would be great. I don't mind doing distance sessions, but if I was able to get to the location, oh God, yeah. Completely different ball game when I'm actually at a site. So I'm really just getting pulled by the energy itself, like. But it's heavy. I don't know why it's so heavy. And I can't, that's explaining. So I keep seeing light and then waves of like sort of darkness. And I can't seem to see beyond that darkness, which could be symbolic, could be Maybe he just fell asleep. I feel like, well, it's laid down. Could have just fallen to sleep. Yeah, there's the waves of energy. I can see the waves of energy. So there's the sort of dark energy, the darkness, it's space, but then there's the light around. So it's kind of why I know there's energy within. Like even though there's a real heavy energy, it's almost like heavy energy feels protective. It's the weirdest thing. Weirdest thing. Wow. So I've got to get all this into a report. And I'll try and get this off immediately. Get this typed up tonight. And I've got to figure out who I'm supposed to send it to. By the time the report's gone off, I'll have emailed it, but the video will be ready to view as well. So the link will be in the report for whoever's on it. I'm going to have to try and send it to somebody that can read English. I'm not being funny, but... And then revert to the session 2 for more in depth. Steep track. There was a little... Yeah. Wow, what is going on? I wonder if he's been bitten or something. So God, I just feel really sick, and it's not me. It's not my energy. It's not my energy. So I need to really tidy this up a little bit. This what I was sort of from the point. I still feel like it's that wall. See, I feel like he walked a bit, then he came across a wall I was looking down at, and he sort of like started walking in that direction, like went over the wall. It's not like a high wall or anything like that. It's just a little climb down it, and that was from, yeah, roughly where the house is. So it wouldn't have walked that far. Is there anything else before I close this out? So the way I was sort of drawing that little track for 40 minutes worth of it, that's the sort of direction I'd be moving. If I was at that starting point where he started from, that's how I'd be walking, that way. Okay. Close. Okay, so I'm going to close this session out. I'll close this session out at 10:38 p.m. Okay. 10:38 p.m. Plenty of like clairaudience, like telekinesis. What the fuck? That was random. Telepathy. So there was a lot of that coming through. Again, remember a lot of stuff can come through symbolically as well. So that's where I would start. At that point, I would start there. If I was there now looking for this young man, I would be where that house was, where he started walking off. I would start looking in the areas where there's like walls, and then you would walk, and then you could climb over it. Then you could sort of look down. You'd be walking down into like a trail or something, or where people would walk. That's and then follow that direction. Because I had 40 minutes. I walked for like 40 minutes from the house. So again, there's the house. I don't feel like he set off that far from it. So my question is, if there was a regular bus service on a Monday morning, especially people going to work for those areas, and if the bus service is apparently, in one article I was reading, like the bus is coming for 10 minutes, there's no way I'd start walking anywhere. I'd wait for the next bus if I was aware of that. I need to find that article as well too, but I read that, so that tells me, but I don't know what time the bus service started either in Tenerife. But again, Monday morning is a work day between 8 and 9 a.m. I would start to, this is where I'm a bit confused, because now I'm thinking there would be some sort of traffic. It might be minimal, but I feel like there would be some traffic. Maybe that was the white Nissan. Maybe there was an interaction with a white Nissan, or I don't know. Maybe there's a possible interaction with three male energies. But I would have thought there would have been some sort of human movement of some sort, unless the place is just completely asleep. Like the area, I mean, it does look a bit remote in some parts of it, but just sort of looking on the picture, but it's like, okay, I get that, but again, Monday morning, that just tells me people have got to go to work. What time do they start work? There would have to be some sort of traffic at some point. That's why I would have stayed on the road. And who's to say I didn't get back on the road? Or got off the road for a reason. See what I mean? Because again, logic and you know, sort of common sense would tell you, oof, the idea of walking 10 hours, it bothers me. Like, most people who go hiking, unless you're a really avid, crazy hiker, nobody goes hiking for like 10 hours. Unless you're stopping and camping along the way. That's a little bit different. Or you're sort of stopping in, but you'd be prepared for that. Like, I mean, prepared with equipment and everything. The right hiking shoes and everything. You'd be ready to make a fire if you need to and that sort of stuff. Not just randomly go, yeah, I'm gonna walk back to my hotel. Probably gonna take me 10 hours. I don't think so. Something's wrong there. And the idea of even thinking about it tells me there was confusion there. Or there would have to be a reason why somebody would have to think it would be okay without even water to think I'm going to hike right through that freaking hike when I can just stay on the road and walk my way down the road, and I've got more chance of a passing by, flagging somebody down or seeing somebody at some point than in the middle of a freaking forest or no. So that is my investigation. Do you know what? I am so spaced out, like, because I'm still connected to his energy. I haven't disconnected yet. I just feel like I'm not with it. That's why I'm so worried. If this young lad is still alive right now, he needs to be found immediately, because I just feel like he's hanging on. Whether he's been taken or whether he's still in that ravine or that forest area. But if he's still alive, he's hanging on. But I just feel like, whoa, I'm just not with it. Which also tells me something else too, but I hope we find him regardless of what I find him. That's it. Regardless. It's like my friend who recently jumped into Lake Pleasant, which I still have a problem with. I don't care. Something doesn't feel right about that anyway. But he jumped in apparently, and he didn't resurface. Well, he needed help. He was calling out for help, but apparently who he was with was unable to help him. And he drowned. And for me, there was a lot of things I had a problem with anyway. And I believe he went missing on the 4th of May, I believe. At Pleasant here in Arizona, and I think I had to look at my report, but I went less than a week later to the lake to try and find him, doing the same thing I'm doing now. I mean, I zoned in on an area, but I don't know where they started boating, do you know what I mean? But I just felt pulled to one area anyway. And, you know, they found him roughly in the same area apparently too, like, which kind of shocked me, because I'm like, well, if he didn't resurface and you found him, I think it was like 120, 130 feet below. I mean, was he, you know, I mean, a lot of people, bodies usually surface through gas and everything before that, but it must have been lodged. I can't figure out a reason as to why he wasn't found until the 13th or the 14th. Like, so, but I went there and I still did what I did. I mean, I got some information, but problem here is It's just hard for me to trust law enforcement at the moment. I don't know why that is. It's really, really sad. So but again, it's when it comes to sort of missing people and missing persons and things like this, it's just sad. You want the family to blood clot. You want the family to find them, even if it's just for closure, to take them home. You know what I mean? And that's why I do what I do, because it doesn't matter whether I'm connecting to somebody who's deceased or still alive. I just want them to be found so they can be taken home. And the families need to take them home regardless. And then the next stages of, worst case scenario, the grieving side of it process starts. But the first 48 hours are the most crucial. Most crucial. And I hope that the Tenerife police started looking for him quite straight away, because again, that 48 hours, first 48 hours is to find people. They might need to be in hospital, but hospitalized or anything, but you can still find people alive. But after 48 hours, it starts to get a bit slim. So you're talking Monday. It's like Thursday here. It's Friday in Melbourne. So I don't want to make any more speculations on anything like that. I just feel like he needs to be found immediately. And I can't, unless he's being held against his will, I can't imagine why they wouldn't find him. It's going to take a bit more really going into this terrain, but it's very possible he was where he should have been heading. It might have come off slightly. So that is case CCMP67, and that's Missing Jay Slater. And I'm gonna monitor and see if anything happens. Like I say, I'll get this report off tonight, as I'll figure out somebody who's on the case. I'll even have to send it to her. I don't really want to send it to like news outlets or anything like that, but I want to figure out. I'd like to send it to the investigators. But I'll do what I do, and I'll do my best, and that's all I can do. And then I'll find a way to have somebody let the family know on the Facebook page that my report has been sent. So it might be worth them chasing up with, or at least letting the law enforcement know at that end in Tenerife, hey, apparently you should be expecting a report from blah blah Dr. Karen Mikowski. Can you look for it? She might have some information that might help. So I can only do as much as I can do. I mean, if I was there, it'd be a completely different ball game. I'd be looking myself. I'd be going exactly where I'm seeing. So other than that, I'm going to close this out now, because it's still still feels heavy. I hope we find him. I do. I really do. So take care. Stay safe, and I'll see you all again very soon.